What's up? Welcome to JDW Sports Podcast. And in this podcast episode, we're talking about the Colts' possibilities at quarterback next season. And before we get into it real fast, I just want to say Super Bowl predictions coming up and plenty of other off-season content coming out. So make sure you subscribe and hit that bell and drop a like so you could see those vids. And now let's get into it. Now I have a little chart here. 0 being least likely, 7 being most likely. And mostly the names that are being thrown around. 1, no one has gone to the Colts, but I have them pretty low. Anyways, and at 0, I have Aaron Rodgers. There's some talks about Aaron Rodgers coming to the Colts, leaving Green Bay, but I don't see him leaving Green Bay right now. I don't see him leaving Green Bay. And at 1, we have Zach Wilson. No one has him coming to the Colts, and I don't think he will be the Colts QB. I don't think there's a good chance he will be. We're not going to trade up for a quarterback, I don't think. Zach Wilson isn't a Chris Ballard type of guy, in my opinion. Zach Wilson is not really realistic for him to come to the Colts. And at 2, I have Sam Darnold. He would have been higher before they lost the first round pick, the first overall pick, but I think the Jets are sticking with Sam. I don't think they're gonna get rid of Sam Darnold. I don't think they should get rid of Sam Darnold. I think they should build around Sam Darnold. He's a very talented QB. Had absolutely nothing to work with. We've seen what happened when Ryan Tannehill left Adam Gase in Miami. He went to he went to Tennessee, and look at him. He's a star, one of the best QBs in the game right now. And at number 3, I have Jacoby Brissett. You might wonder why I have Jacoby Brissett so low is because we've already seen what he has. We've already seen he's had plenty of opportunities. There's many people saying he needs another opportunity, but he doesn't. He sat behind Tom Brady and then Andrew Luck, and he had a year. He played that 1 year in 2017 when Luck was hurt. He sat a whole another year when Luck was playing. He had that whole year to learn, and the year after that was his time to shine, and he didn't shine. Beginning, he did. Some people are going to make the excuse for an injury, but your franchise QB needs to be able to come back from an injury in the middle of the season. It's just a QB has to be able to come back from an injury. You can't have a QB that's going to dwell on the injury and let that injury bother them like the whole rest of the season. That's not an awesome QB. Brissett is great backup, a great game manager. He gives you a chance. You go in every game. He gives you a chance going into every game. But he's not going to be the reason why you win nor lose. He's just that kind of quarterback. He's a game manager, not a game changer. At 4, Jacob Eason. I think Jacob Eason is more likely than Jacoby. Now, this is a big debate, controversial, or a hot take, I guess you could say, but we've seen Brissett. We haven't seen Eason. A lot of people say Frank Reich and Chris aren't too keen on Eason. I don't believe that. I think they like Eason. I don't think they're bashing on him as much as other people say they are. And it's just he was really raw coming out of Washington. His problem coming out of Washington was he couldn't throw on the run. And in this league, you have to be able to throw on the run. Hopefully, Brissett helped him out with that a little bit. And I just don't think Brissett should start over Eason next year. Eason has an elite arm. An elite arm. He dropped because of his inability to throw on the run. Now, if he worked on that just a little bit, he could be a great QB. He just still has a little bit of learning to do. Now, number 5, I have Mac Jones. Now, Mac Jones is very raw. If we were to take Mac Jones, I'd say we keep Jacoby. Let him learn behind Jacoby for the first few weeks at least. Then put him into a good winning situation, not a bad situation like many teams put their rookie QBs in. Mac Jones is raw. I don't think he's going to translate well to the NFL. If he does, it's going to take a few years for him to develop. I just don't think Mac Jones is a guy. Now, I think this next guy is more likely than Mac Jones, which is Trey Lance. I think Trey Lance is much more likely than Mac Jones because he's he has Chris Ballard written all over him. Small school, starting to get some disbelievers, people that don't believe in him. He good character. That's a Chris Ballard guy written all over him. The only thing is, I don't think we'll get him is because I think we're gonna draft a tackle in the first round, unless we draft a QB and then trade up to draft a tackle. If that happens, that's unlikely, but it's a possibility. I don't think we're gonna draft a quarterback. I think we're gonna draft Christian Darrisaw or another tackle, Liam Eichenberg in the first round. I don't see us trading. I don't see us getting a QB, but I think he's more likely than all these other QBs here on the board. Rodgers, Wilson, Darnold, Brissett, Eason, Jones. I think he's more likely than all of them. And then 7, I think you guessed it, Matthew Stafford. It's just like he's ready punched his ticket to Indy. He's in Indy right now, probably. Um, I don't know though because this is the situation where like that first round pick. If you're gonna trade that for Matthew Stafford, why not just draft Trey Lance? And then that's it. That comes into the same situation the play that I was talking about before. If you use that pick on Matthew Stafford, you're probably gonna have to use more on Matthew Stafford, not just a first round pick, unless Chris could get him for fairly cheap. Somehow, like one of those weird deals, like the Hopkins deal. Maybe we get him for like extremely cheap. Maybe, but probably not because there's a lot of other competitors, a lot of other teams out there that want him. So we're most likely gonna have to give him a first or more for Matthew Stafford. So it's kind of it's a tough one. It's tough because we've seen Jacoby, we don't want Jacoby. So maybe Eason should be higher up on this list. Maybe Eason should be much higher up on this list, and I think he probably should. I didn't rank him high enough. After going through it, I see he should be much higher. So that's my quarterback. That's my opinion on the quarterback possibilities for next year for our Colts. So let me know what you guys think. And Super Bowl predictions coming up. Much more offseason content on its way. Super Bowl predictions, like I said. Hit that sub button, hit that like, hit that bell so you know when new content comes out. Peace. Like always, go Colts.